I have recently gotten into betta fish or betta fish. You can pronounce it both ways. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that and why I'm into them and some fun facts. And then I just wanted to show you the fish themselves because they're really cool colors and they have great personalities. And just show you how I've scaped the tank. And just to kind of share about a hobby that I've gotten into during this quarantine time. I got into this completely randomly one night. I was shopping in Meijer, and right next to the dairy aisle where they keep, like the eggs and cheese and butter, there's the pet area. And you may have noticed if you've been in there, there's fish tanks. And these fish are not kept in those fish tanks. They are kept in tiny little cups that are filled with a couple inches of water, and they're not heated or anything. They're set around their sink area. Let me actually show you a cup. This is an example of a cup that they're kept in, so just a very small container. And I saw this fish, and he looks so sad. And when I came up to his little cup and I looked at him a bit more closely, he flared at me, which is what these betta fish do. Bettas are very aggressive. And got my cat. They're very aggressive. And so what they do is they flare what's called their beard, which is they flex their gill plates at you to look like big and aggressive and, hey, don't mess with me. And so I tapped on this cup, and even though he was sickly and not doing well, he flared his little beard at me to let me know, like, hey, I'm big, I've got spunk, don't mess with me, this is my cup. And something just clicked in me, and I put him in my cart. I'm like, I'm doing this. And I bought a little tank, and I just, right then and there, I had all my groceries in the cart, and I just added this little tank, and I had this cup. I'm like, let's do this. I think it made me so sad because they have them on display almost like they're plants, like not a truly conscious being in these tiny little cups. And they're conscious beings. As far as fish go, bettas are actually one of the smarter fish out there. And you can teach them tricks. You can teach them to jump through hoops. They'll jump out of the water and splash for you for treats. I've seen people play tic-tac-toe with their bettas. So they enjoy, there's these little toys that it's sort of like a floating ball, and then a small mirror hangs from it, so it's down in the water. And bettas will look at their reflection and, flare and things like that. So, they're a conscious being, and they're sitting in this cup bored. Betta fish get depressed and they get bored. Because they're smart, they need to be stimulated. They need to have things to explore and things to do. So anyways, something just clicked, and I brought my first betta home. And I loved him. He was great. He was happy. And I was going to the local pet shops around Fort Wayne, like PetSmart and Petco and Pet Supplies Plus over by Fresh Market. And I really hadn't noticed it before, but all of these pet stores have these sort of, on the ends of the aisles, these racks that have all these same tiny cups. And I'm realizing, oh my gosh, these are everywhere. So as I was going into the pet store to pick up like a live plant or something to put in the tank, I was looking at the betta fish that they had there every time. And I don't know, something just got a hold of me because I couldn't stop at one. I couldn't stop at 2, 3, 4, 5 across the room. I'll show him in a second. And then I've got 3 more fish on another long table in my living room, and I'll show you guys that too. But anyway, so I have 8 fish. I don't know, I was dreaming about them even. I would fall asleep and I would see the beautiful colors of their fins almost like swishing across the back of my eyelids. I'd see one that was sickly in a cup that I knew that someone probably wouldn't buy, and their fins are gorgeous and delicate. And when they sit in these cups and they go to the bathroom in these cups, the fish waste breaks down into ammonia. I had to learn the nitrogen cycle again. I'm sure Mr. Rummage taught me in organic chemistry in high school, but I had to brush up on that. It burns their beautiful fins off. And other diseases happen too. And so I would see a fish that was just kind of disintegrating in a cup. and I'd get a plant, and then a couple weeks would pass, and then I'd go and purchase something else, and I'd see the same fish in the cup. His fins just maybe a little bit more ratty, a little bit more disintegrated, and I couldn't stand it. I would have a dream about him at night, and then I'd wake up first thing and I'd go purchase him. And so right now I have this smaller tank, and I'll do a close-up on it, but this is sort of my hospital tank for fish that are in really critical condition. They may have multiple diseases going on. They may have the ammonia burns. And so I nurse these fish very, very carefully, and I give them premium food, and I really try and nurse them back to health, and then I move them into a fully scaped tank like this. About the tanks, this is part of what I love about the hobby. I'm a collector of things. I'm very sentimental. And so, you know, from my hiking days and things like that, I've got all these neat crystals. And when my dad used to hunt, he would find arrowheads all the time and just collect them. Let me show you this bag of arrowheads that I have. Check this out. These are all fragments or whole arrowheads. I have then taken these arrowheads, and I have the whole bottoms of tanks are pieces of arrowheads. I've got amethyst crystals. I've got quartz. I've got an elephant that's carved out of moonstone here. So what's neat about these tanks is that they're sort of memory boxes for me. It's like taking a piece of nature. You know, I'm taking an underwater world, and I'm attempting to keep it in a 2.5 gallon cube. And so there is a little bit of chemistry that goes into it. But when you get it all dialed in, then you can display things that are really have sentimental value. And so the tank tells a story. And then I've got this beautiful fish that looks almost like an underwater butterfly just living among it. Among my treasures.